Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Quips with Steven Seagal. This time, Steven Seagal is... belly of the beast, because he's got a big belly. Makes sense, guys. Totally does. But this movie was released in 2003. It was made by Tony Ching, starring obviously Steven Seagal and Byron Mann. This movie, while again, it is a Steven Seagal movie, so it is not very good on an objective basis. Obviously, pretty much 99% or like 98% of his films are objectively pretty bad movies. They can at least be enjoyed ironically or just dumb fun, right? This movie is a dumb fun action movie, right? The choreography is actually, this is probably the best choreography I've seen for a Steven Seagal movie in a while. Because mainly, and it's so good that Steven does not do like a good percentage of it. Like, there's like points where there's a stunt double doing pretty much all the shit that he does. And it's like, there's just like the camera just cuts off his head, and you can tell it's a stunt double because there's no belly, right? He's not fat, right? And all like the stupid normal Steven Seagal bullshit with all that Steven does because that's the only shit he knows how to do. But even then, like, whenever Steven just, like, goes... Like, he would just, like, gently, like, touch a guy with his palm, and the guy would just, like, fly Mach 10 over, like, through the wall into another house. It's fucking great. They, like, fly around. And that's like kung fu movie. Like, it's like kung fu shit. Where, like, you kick a dude and he just flies into heaven. I fucking love that. That shit's awesome. And that was probably the most entertaining part of the movie was the action. And the action is plentiful in this movie. There's a bunch of action scenes. So, and that's like the only parts I have to look forward to in this movie, because the rest of it, and while I'm not trying to hate on these actors, okay? It's a Steven Seagal movie. They probably can't get any other jobs. Like, but I swear, there was this girl in the movie. I don't know who she is. But she showed less emotion in this movie than Steven Seagal. If you're showing less emotion in a movie with Steven Seagal, that's a problem. That's a lot of problems. Because as I've said many times in my review, he sounds like this in every single scene. He never changes. Never gets mad. Never gets sad. Never, like, he doesn't even, like, act happy. He's just this 100% of the time. And if you're worse than that, maybe you should be taking some more acting lessons. I'm just saying. Not trying to be mean here. I'm just saying. I'm trying to look out for your career. But anyway, yeah. The action is, as I said, pretty good. But the story, pretty basic. I mean, Steven Seagal's daughter and this other girl were kidnapped by these, like, terrorist ransom guys. Like, these terrorist guys. But then, like, they framed this, like, big, like, evil boss guy. He was the one that kidnapped Steven's, like, daughter and the girl. And then, like, Steven eventually confronts this guy, and the guy's like, oh, I didn't do it. And it's like, then there was this, like, army general who framed that boss guy, and now Steven goes to kill that guy and get his daughter back and the other girl. So it's like, okay, I kind of follow you here, but then the general's introduced pretty early on, but he's not introduced as a villain until, like, there's barely any movie left. So there's barely a time for him to have a presence as a villain, And I just have, obviously, I don't know why I'm critiquing this movie like a real movie, but I'm trying here. Like, obviously, a connection with the hero, the main character, is important. Like, he kidnapped his daughter. Steven wants to get her back. Pretty simple connection there. But, like, the villain never really talks with Steven, from what I can remember, until the end of the movie. Or, like, maybe near the end, and then there's, like, the big ending fight scene in the house. And then there's, like, fucking Shang Tsung or whatever, like, this fucking voodoo guy who's, like, only has, like, 2 scenes, he has, like, 3 scenes in the movie, and he's barely in there. And, like, at the beginning, like, Steven's, like, fighting these guys at the fish market, and then, like, just out of nowhere, like, a guy, like, Steven's pressing this guy up against the wall, and the guy's, like, looking, and there's just, like, a voodoo, like, a shirtless old guy with a big white beard, and he's just looking at him, and then the guy looks terrified, and then he skedaddles and fucking Looney Tunes bit, trips on some fish, and then impales himself on a cleaver that was just on the perfectly set up on the floor. But yeah, this shaman guy, I think, I've never seen magic. We've never seen this kind of thing in a movie. Like, it being about magic-wise. I've never seen magic in a Steven Seagal movie. So that's new. I just kind of wish they did more with it. You know, I kind of wish they did more with the weird magic shit. Like, maybe embraced it, maybe made, like, Shang Tsung or whatever. I don't even think they even gave him a name. I'm just gonna call him Shang Tsung. They, like, gave Shang Tsung, like, something to do other than... Like, he didn't even really do anything. He just kind of, like, acted like a fake out at the end. I was like, oh, is Steven not gonna beat the bad guy? Because he has, like, a voodoo doll of Steven. He's, like, stabbing it with needles. But then, like, the monk temple, which is, like, right across the street from, like, this evil sorcerer's temple. It's pretty funny, honestly. It's like fucking the Chum Bucket and Krusty Krab. Like, they're just right across the street from each other. It's pretty funny. But then they're, like, praying, and then they, like, defeat him and, like, suppress his evil black magic or whatever. And then, like, Steven, like, gets powered up and beats the shit out of that guy, punches him. He flies across the room and into, like, a glass shelf. It's pretty good. But... well, it's pretty good because he literally, like, flies. Like, I'm not even being hyperbolic here. He flies into that shelf. You'll have to see the movie to see it, or maybe look up a clip. I don't know. But yeah, I just kind of wish, like, maybe in the movie Shang Tsung could have been he could have been, like, a secondary villain, maybe. Maybe he could have, like, actually been a threat. He could have been a threat more. He could have had more scenes of him, like, doing dastardly evil wizard things. You know, maybe him, like, because he had, like, a bowl of blood. Maybe they could, like, figure out, like, it could explain that he's evil by him, like, killing somebody and draining their blood or something. I don't know. Do something. Because I like the idea of an evil, like, Thai sorcerer that just has beef with Steven Seagal, apparently. And, like... I just think there's a lot of wasted opportunity there to make this movie even more bonkers. You know, I think that would have been more enjoyable to just, like, the final battle wouldn't have been with the evil guy. It would have been with a fucking... Imagine Steven Seagal, like, Aikidoing a fucking evil sorcerer. That would have been funny. But they didn't do that, which makes me disappointed. I do think I got enjoyment out of this film for the most part, but, again, the story obviously didn't really grip me because... A story in a Steven Seagal movie has never really gripped me, aside, like, ever. I'm gonna just be real with you. Maybe only one movie has ever done that. I think you should know what it is at this point if you're engrossed in the Steven Seagal lore. But Under Siege, his only genuinely good movie. Big shocker. But yeah, the, like. I don't know. I just feel like the story was, like, it just didn't really get me because, obviously, it's a Steven Seagal movie, first off, and because, I mean, I love the action, right? To all of you, I've said how much I love the action, but, again, I'm not trying to insult the action itself, but I'm trying to say, like, the amount of action is kind of, like, maybe not, but the action is kind of, like, preventing the story. So, like, there's a lot more action. I feel like when the action's on, I'm like, yeah, the action, right? Yeah, punch, beat the fuck out of that guy. But when the story comes, I'm like, oh man, fucking story's back. Punch more people, right? Like, I don't care. I just want Steven to fucking throw a guy across the continent again. Like, I just want to see that happen again. Like, I think the action is too good because then I don't care about the story and I just want to see the action, right? And that's like the detriment to what the people making the movie want. They want you to be invested in the action and the story, but I only am invested in the action because it's so batshit insane, you know? Like, I think what they should have done is they should have just gone buck wild with the story, you know, just gone absolutely insane, just had, like, maybe, as I said, lean more into the magic, you know, there's, like, magic going on, and maybe, like, the terrorists aren't really terrorists, they're, like, evil devil worshippers or something, and they're, like, trying to sacrifice the girls to the evil sorcerer, give them a connection, you know, like, that would be fucking great, that would be ridiculous, but that'd be, like, that's a ridiculous movie that I like to watch, right? But they didn't do that, and I think it would have been way better. It was like a twist on a twist at the end of the movie. They would have been like devil worshippers, and they would use like magic. That sounds fucking ridiculous. Like, I would watch that. And it makes me so disappointed, because there are genuinely like really funny and great ideas in this movie that they just don't capitalize on. Like, use magic. You put magic in, you don't do anything with it. Like, come on. You can't just magic fake me out.
It's like they were holding back.
They were holding back, man. If you put magic in, you gotta go all in. Just go all in. If you're putting magic in your movie, you're already... you can't take your movie that seriously if, like, you're not in a grounded world where magic is established. If you just, like, are in a movie with guns and you're, like, in a modern setting and then there's just sorcerers, like, just go all in. You know what I mean? Just... sorcerers everywhere, just fucking fireballs and, you know, fucking devils and shit. Give me all that, you know? Go, as I said, hog wild with it, man. Go nuts. That's what I like in an action movie, where they just go balls to the walls insane. You know, just great action, ridiculous story, you know, that's my kind of action movie. Or grounded action and a somewhat grounded story, or investing story, I don't know. So, would I recommend this film? Okay, that's a little harder. Probably not for the average viewer, but if you were an average sleuth like I am, but I don't know. I wouldn't recommend this film for the average film viewer. I don't know if you'd get much enjoyment out of it, but if you're like an action fan, I feel like you could definitely get some enjoyment out of it from the action scenes, the plethora of action scenes in this movie. So I'd maybe recommend it if you're into that, but if you're not into like the more niche action movies, then I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're just looking to like have some fun, maybe. But now let's get to the ratings. So real movie rating, I'd give it like a 4. Then ironic enjoyment, I think it's a solid 7.5. And I think this movie isn't the worst on Steven Seagal scale. I've definitely seen worse, much worse. And I think I'd give it like a 6.5. So let's run that back. So we got real movie rating 4. Then we got ironic enjoyment, 7.5, and finally with the Steven Seagal scale, we got 6.5, a solid ranking. We don't really count the real movie ratings because none of these are really good on objective scale. But these two are the ones that matter really in this. But yeah, so, I think I've said what I need to say. I think I've said my piece. So guys, hope you liked this video. Hope you share with friends, subscribe, there's notifications on, comment below if you liked it. And I'm Runtime HD. And this has been Quick Quips with Steven Seagal. Signing out.
Signing out?
Off. Signing off. You can edit that in.